Today on Studio One, frames come in all sizes, shapes, and colors. We'll spend a day in the life of someone who can pick the right combination. Also, in any game, success can be hard to repeat. We'll tell you how one curling team keeps together as they focus on winning. And half of the country is now a part of the lottery. We'll tell you about the potential benefits and problems it can bring.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Hi everyone and welcome to Studio One. I'm Monty Cashel.
And I'm Carrie Versdal.
Well, Carrie, it's well known, of course, that sports are all over the world. People are playing them all over, and
right.
They also have fans that watch the sports. Sometimes fans can get out of control. If you take a look at even the soccer events where there have been riots and that sort of thing.
And even young kids, their parents sometimes get into it a little bit too much. Out of control, parents can get into it, and emotions get a little bit high. We have someone coming on the program today, a university athletic director, to talk about fan behavior at the college level and see what happens at that level. So interesting to talk to him. Also coming up on the show, North Dakota recently became the latest state to take part in the lottery. We'll look at the boost this could give to businesses and state revenues. Also, addictions can be linked with drugs and other substances. However, a new kind of addiction uses the internet to hook people. Coming up, we'll find out how you can prevent your computer from becoming the enemy.
But first, here's today's news with Sarah Spencer.
Thanks, Monty and Carrie. U.S. officials in Baghdad are vowing to hunt down those responsible for the latest deadly strikes in Iraq. Military leaders spoke out against the unusually brutal attacks that left 4 U.S. security contractors dead. The attack occurred Wednesday in Fallujah, where a cheering crowd dragged one of the bodies through the streets. Since that incident, raids have so far led to the capture of 56 anti-coalition suspects.
The coalition is stepping up its offensive tempo to kill or capture anti-coalition elements and enemies of the Iraqi people in response to the latest increase in violence.
Authorities will interview University of Wisconsin student Audrey Seiler, who was found after being abducted last Saturday. Police will be speaking with her for several hours as investigators look for the man she said abducted her. So far, Seiler has told police she was abducted at knife point by a stranger. She was found unharmed. Some people drink alcohol on their 21st birthday to celebrate the special occasion, but there have been many recent cases where young people have died from drinking too much while celebrating their birthday. Part of the reason alcohol-related deaths have been more common could be because of power hour celebrations. This is when the person celebrating their 21st birthday tries to drink 21 shots of liquor in 1 hour. Bars like this one are cracking down and won't serve multiple shots to people on their birthdays, but the concept of the power hour is still troubling to many.
It's cured by friends caring enough about a friend that that's not what you do. You don't push them over a cliff, and you don't make them drink 21 drinks in a very short period of time.
Bars have the right to refuse alcohol to anyone. Establishments can be held liable if they serve alcohol to someone who dies from drinking too much. Combining prescribed cancer medications with alternative therapies could be dangerous. This was the warning given by experts at a recent breast cancer conference in Europe. They say that even though alternative therapies are becoming popular, they may not help treat cancer. And when used in combination with standard treatments, these alternative medicines may have dangerous side effects. Breast cancer specialists say that many of these remedies have not been tested in combination with cancer medications. Research is now underway to find out the effects of combining these medications. North Dakota is now one of 25 states with the lottery. On the opening day, people stood in line to get their tickets, but some say that the positive aspects of the lottery go beyond the chances of quick riches.
North Dakota asked for it, and now it is here. The Powerball lottery made its debut in the state on March 25th, but it didn't come without work. Bringing the lottery to North Dakota failed in the state legislature 3 times before the lawmakers handed the responsibility over to the citizens.
If the people of North Dakota want a lottery, let them support it. So the petitions were circulated. We were successful in getting it on the ballot.
That success continued on the lottery's opening day in North Dakota. The state set a new national record for opening day Powerball ticket sales per capita by selling almost $150,000 worth of tickets. That equals out to about 1/4 spent by every North Dakota citizen. North Dakota Attorney General Wayne Stenjum attributes the lottery's success to 2 factors.
Number one, North Dakotans were used to buying lottery tickets, at least those who live near the border, But number two, this is a form of entertainment that people have clearly indicated that they want to have available to them in North Dakota.
Some people are buying their tickets for entertainment and the chance of becoming rich.
I hope we get a winner here.
Customers aren't the only ones dreaming about the potential money they could win. The state government is hoping that ticket sales will mean $5 million in revenue for the state. 21 cents from each lottery ticket dollar stays in North Dakota and will go into the state's general fund.
Most of the money that the legislature does spend goes to education, elementary, secondary, and higher education. And so I think it's logical to assume that that is where the bulk of the money will go.
Some of the funds will help people who are addicted to gambling. Businesses that sell lottery tickets are also optimistic about what the sales can mean for them.
We're hoping that, they come in and buy pop or gas or another purchase with the lottery ticket.
Many ticket buyers, businesses selling tickets, and people in the state government have a common dream. They're envisioning the impact that the lottery could have on the state. This is Heidi Sire reporting for Studio One News.
Coming up later in the show, we'll take a look at some of the potential downsides to the lottery. We'll hear from a compulsive gambling counselor who's concerned about the negative impacts of Powerball. And that's news for now. Monty and Carrie?
Thanks, Sarah. Well, I think it's safe to say that most of the country is well into spring.
Yes.
Even here, where it's in the North Country.
Usually freezing.
Yeah.
It's getting warm out there.
Right.
Why don't we go to BJ Ison at the Regional Weather Information Center and find out if it's going to stay this nice spring weather.
Well, Monty and Carrie, you're right. Very spring-like conditions all across the U.S. Very nice out there. We're dealing with some storms across the U.S. though, but once we can get through those, it looks like clear sailing here for the next week at least. So let's take a look at our almanac conditions for this week. And as you can see, for the cities of North Dakota, average temperatures for this week: 49 in Minot, 49 in Fargo, 47 in Grand Forks, and 51 in Bismarck. And as we move on through our other cities, Portland, average high for this week, 59 degrees, 54 in St. Paul, 53 in Minneapolis, and then Winnipeg, 5 degrees Celsius for their average high for this week. Now, as we take a look at our current jet stream, we have a very wavy pattern across the nation, flowing from west to east, of course. And actually what this is the fastest flowing air in the upper atmosphere, and it looks like we have two troughs of low pressure across the east and across the west, with a very high very big high pressure ridge building throughout the central sections. And what that's allowing is very warm temperatures coming up from the south, and chilly with a permanent storm kind of stuck out on the east coast right now, so a lot of rain happening for them, a couple inches of rain falling. As we see the jet stream move across throughout the week, though, we are going to see this wavy pattern continue, bringing us storm after sunshine after storm, and we will see this very spring-like pattern throughout much of the next week. Now, with your national weather, here's the storm system I was talking about. A lot of rain being dumped in the northeast, anywhere from 2 to 3 inches of rain for them. Very nice throughout the central sections of the U.S., but then we see another storm tracking along the northern border of the country, and that will continue to move out across the nation. Otherwise, high pressure building in throughout the rest of the week, and we will be seeing very nice conditions all throughout next week, so very spring-like conditions out there. And here's your Studio One Weather IQ question. What common gas in our atmosphere has an average life of 12 years? Is it A, CFCs, B, water vapor, C, carbon dioxide, or D, methane? Monty and Carrie will have the answer to that question and your local forecast all coming up in the second half of the show.
Thanks, BJ. I'm not quite sure about that one.
You're not? You don't have an answer for us?
That seems like a while to be gas in the I don't know.
Yeah, you never know. Pollution, it hangs up there for a while, I think.
Right.
All right, let's go now to sports news with Greg Ankers.
Thanks, Monty and Carrie. The annual McDonald's High School All-American game has changed in its 26 years. A girls' game was added in 2002, and since then, only one female has taken a crack at competing with the boys in the slam dunk contest. This year, however, another girl was determined to take down her male counterparts. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Candace Parker highlight reel. She gets the night started off right with the behind-the-back slam dunk. Those in attendance, they approve. And then Candace Parker would work her way into the championship round, and watch this. She covers her eyes and nails it. Parker is pumped. There's tens galore from the judges. As we take a look again, Parker is the first female to win the slam dunk event. On to the boys' game now, full of highlights with guys like J.R. Smith with the 360 slam down, and then more high-flying action courtesy of Dwight Howard, who takes the alley-oop pass and slams it home. Howard is expected to be the #1 draft pick in this summer's NBA draft. And then Josh Smith makes a statement that clearly says, "Get that stuff out of here." Oh, by the way, the East would win 126-96. It's the end of an era for one future NHL Hall of Famer. New York Rangers captain Mark Messier played what is likely to be his final game at Madison Square Garden Wednesday night. After 25 seasons, 15 All-Star games, and 6 Stanley Cups, Messier finished off his career with one last goal. The Rangers fell to the Buffalo Sabres 4-3, but the game was more about saying goodbye to a legend. Messier is ranked second in NHL history for games played and total points. He averaged over a point a game for his career. After missing the previous 6 games because of injuries and suspensions, Messier stepped onto the MSG ice for one last game. He immediately received a standing ovation from both teams and the sold-out house. Messier won his last Stanley Cup in 1994, giving the Rangers their first championship in 54 years. And now it's time for the Studio One Sports Trivia question. With the NBA season winding down, awards are sure to be given out. We want to know which of the following players did not lead the NBA in scoring during the 1990s. We'll tell you who didn't make the cut when we have more sports later on. Monty and Carrie?
Thank you, Greg. Disney has a new animated film with some familiar voices. The movie revives the Wild Wild West with the help from some barnyard animals.
Also, the internet is a widely used tool. Many people spend hours at a time surfing the net. Next, we'll talk with someone who helps others when internet use turns from recreation to addiction.
Need to plan an entire conference? Want to provide your employees with professional training and development? The Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota provides quality programs and services for career enhancement. Whether you want to attend educator workshops or need a certificate for your profession, the Division of Continuing Education can help you achieve success. Contact the Division of Continuing Education today and let us meet your professional needs. The School of Engineering and Mines at UND has a long history of preparing students for successful careers. Through small classes and faculty involvement, students have unique opportunities to gain hands-on experience. Here, students launch a weather balloon to test a remote imaging device destined for Earth orbit. Students can also become involved in wind energy and fuel cell projects, design, build, and race a Formula One car, or even develop a camera that will generate agricultural images from the International Space Station. Find out for yourself how you can get involved at UND School of Engineering and Mines.
The University of North Dakota College of Business and Public Administration offers real degrees for real people. Our nationally recognized faculty can help you earn a master's degree in business through evening classes.
Taking these evening classes were very convenient for me, and that's how I was able to complete the program.
We offer degrees for people who work, raise families, and lead busy lives. The UND College of Business and Public Administration, real degrees for real people.
Let the University of North Dakota become your strategic partner by providing your business with skills to enhance your workforce retention and productivity efforts. The UND Office of Workforce Development has extensive experience in conducting employee satisfaction research, workforce needs assessments, and the development of customized training materials. Call us for further information. Workforce Development, a service of the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
You're watching Studio One, honored by the Northwest Broadcast News Association for excellence in cable television.
Online vampire is a term used to describe internet users who stay up all night then sleep through the day. While this may seem extreme, cases like this are becoming more common. Licensed addiction counselor Karen Walton is here to tell us more about internet addiction. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks.
Well, I mentioned online vampires. Could you explain what type of person this is?
Well, internet addiction is an impulse control disorder that doesn't involve the use of an intoxicating substance, and it's very similar to compulsive gambling. And it was first coined by Ivan Goldberg as a joke on a listserv. And then it began to be researched by Kimberly Young, who wrote Caught in the Net, and then David Greenfield, who wrote Internet Addiction. And ironically, the information and the research that they gathered came from online and those that were participating online, and oftentimes it is in the middle of the night.
Well, what types of internet addiction are there?
The most common sites that are frequented are online casinos or gambling, pornography, sex chat rooms, games like MUDs, which stands for multi-user digital domains, and those are fantasy games, and then online auctions like eBay.
Well, why do people become addicted to the internet?
I think it's very luring with the stimulation. People can have disinhibition. They don't have to identify who they are. They have access all the time, anytime that they want it. And another thing that's very appealing is the internet never ends. They can go on. And I think that endlessness and timelessness creates excitement for the user.
Well, with more internet exposure out there today for young children, computers in homes, is it possible for more people to become addicted because of this?
Well, I think with anything, you're going to have that percentage of people that will have difficulty with something that's new. And of course, technology is only an advantage when it enhances our life. And technology is a great thing. I think for the percentage of people that struggle with some of the sites or accessing pornography, the casinos, those kinds of things, may have difficulty, and then it interrupts with other relationships and responsibilities that they have in their life.
How far can internet addiction go?
Well, I have heard stories from students that, parents have called and said, my student is not attending classes, isn't eating regularly, isn't sleeping, isn't taking care of the hygiene that needs to be taken care of, and will be dropped from classes or have to be dropped from school. And there was an extreme case where a woman spent so much time on the internet that she neglected her children and they were taken away from her.
Wow. Well, is there a specific type of person that is more susceptible to becoming addicted to the internet?
I don't think that there is necessarily an internet addiction personality any more than there would be an addictive type of personality. I think that people can be prone if they have other areas in their life that they're struggling with. And one of the things that internet addiction can mask, just as any other addiction, could be a depression, anxiety disorder, social phobias, those kinds of things.
Well, are there any warning signs that a person should look for?
Sure. First of all, if somebody is thinking themselves, I wonder if I'm spending too much time on internet, that certainly would be a red flag. Other signs can be if they're increasing their time on internet, that they start with several hours and then that increases over time. If they become irritable when they're not online, that they have preoccupation waiting to get out of class or get off of work so they can check their email or get into the chat rooms or play the fantasy games. And also diminished contact with friends, family, hobbies, and other relationships, and as well as academics.
Is there a particular point when a person has crossed when they have actually become an addict to the internet?
I think there is, when they aren't able to manage what they need to in their life emotionally, physically, spiritually, and mentally. And when spending time on internet is overtaking the time that they need to be taking care of responsibilities or in relationships, that would be very serious.
Well, is there anything a person can do to prevent addiction?
I think they can limit time. If somebody is questioning whether or not they're spending too much time on internet or have preoccupation, what they can do is start to limit their time, and if that works, then they can use that to put time limits on that. The other thing is, if people struggle with not being able to control their use or not being able to not think about it when they're offline, then there are ways that they can get help. They can call somebody or come to the counseling center, the University Counseling Center, or student health, because one of the things that really needs to happen is to rule out whether or not there might be another disorder that could be masking that.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. This is really interesting and important information that people should know.
Thank you, Carrie.
Coming up, fans at live sporting events sometimes resort to using profanity. Some are concerned about the atmosphere it creates. We'll talk to a university athletic director about the effects of negative fan behavior. Also, it takes a special touch to make something that is a keepsake. We'll look at how one woman uses her talent to build lasting memories for others.
University of North Dakota. Let the University of North Dakota become your strategic partner by providing your business with skills to enhance your workforce retention and productivity efforts. The UND Office of Workforce Development has extensive experience in conducting employee satisfaction research, workforce needs assessments, and the development of customized training materials. Call us for further information. Workforce Development, a service of the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. Explore the educational opportunities available through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. With just one phone call or a click of the mouse, you'll find high-quality programs designed for today's adults. We have a large selection of continuing education courses that are available at a time and place that's convenient for you. Discover a world of learning through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
Disney is back in action with a new animated feature about the Old West. In the movie, 3 cows are out to save their dairy ranch from bankruptcy and a villain named Slim. Roseanne Barr contributes her voice to a streetwise leader named Maggie, and Judi Dench voices the British cow, Mrs. Calloway. Grace is the simple peacemaker of the group, and Jennifer Tilly voices her character. Roseanne says the story carries a message of friendship.
I like how Maggie is a woman of decision, and she goes right up in the face of it and lets it fly, you know. Like when she goes after the bad guy, she's not intimidated.
Musicians Katie Lang, Bonnie Raitt, and Tim McGraw contribute to the movie soundtrack. The movie also boasts a yodeling number featuring the villain and hundreds of cows. Home on the Range opens in theaters April 2nd. Now it's time to take a look at the events happening in your area. There are times in life we want to cherish and remember. Today we'll spend a day in the life of a woman who helps preserve special memories.
The smell of fresh cut wood fills the air. You're not stepping into a carpenter's workshop. You've just entered the world of custom framer Candace Anderson. Framing requires vision, style, and color coordination. Candace has the gift to make it all come together.
Sometimes it's really easy, it takes just a few minutes, and other times you're searching through all your colors and everything, trying to find things that work.
Candace spends her day measuring, cutting, and building mats and frames.
I like working with the frames and building things, cutting the mats and actually working with the materials and stuff.
Candace works with the customers so they can achieve the look they want. She says she works from the inside out to make sure the piece flows. Candace can take any ordinary picture, painting, or object and turn it into something special.
Usually it's like flatter things, but we've done a few three-dimensional objects, like a wooden object that's like, oh, what do you do with this? You know, how do you attach this to, you know, to the backing?
Framing takes talent like the piece it surrounds. With a professional eye and a personal touch, any keepsake can be turned into a work of art. With photographer Tyler Tupa, I'm Kaylee Hamilton reporting for Studio One.
Candace went to school to become a photographer. She got into framing when she needed to do her own photos for an art exhibit. Coming up, it takes a lot of time on the ice to become good in the sport of curling. In our Studio One Spotlight, we'll tell you about one team whose years of experience has made them U.S. champs. That story plus news, sports, and the weather in the next half hour of Studio One.
North Dakota has been home to many successful entrepreneurs. George Bull and his partners found value in farina, the whitest part of wheat, and created cream of wheat. Patrick Haggerty is the founder of one of the nation's high-tech giants, Texas Instruments. And Raymond Rood's product has been used in every Olympic competition since 1960. He is responsible for the modern diving board. Ryan Foltz is the first graduate of the UND Entrepreneurship Program. Are you next?
The University of North Dakota Alumni Association and Foundation, together with thousands of alumni and friends, are making a difference at UND. Thanks to generous private support, many students have experienced the rich history, tradition, and spirit of the University of North Dakota. UND alumni and friends understand the importance of education and are proud to be part of UND's growth and success. Learn how your gift to the UND Foundation can benefit you and your university. You can make a difference.
Earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering degree program offers the only ABET accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through online lectures and condensed on-campus laboratories.
It's convenient, it's flexible, and it's a quality education.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, American Indian Student Services is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Welcome back to Studio One.
Thanks for joining us today.
Well, there are many, many movies out there.
Millions of movies.
Not even going to try to guess.
No.
But most of those movies are trying to portray some type of message.
Yep, a lot of message gets in. Even if you think now, Passion of the Christ, that was,
right.
you know, just out, lots of people talking about
exactly,
that
the writers and the directors and the producers, they all try to slip in their own little message.
Yep.
And actually, a message, I guess it wouldn't actually be classified as a message, but smoking in movies, they're trying to say that that's considered profanity.
Really?
The same as using bad language and things like that. And actually, we went out and asked people their thoughts on this, if movies should be rated R just because there's smoking in them. So.
Yeah, another criteria to add to the list.
Right.
All right, also coming up in the next 30 minutes on Studio One, the lottery has become a popular source of revenue for many states. We'll tell you about the potential downsides to letting people play the odds.
Also, it takes the right combination of stones, sweeps, and shouts to be successful in curling. Coming up in our Spotlight story, we'll tell you how one team is hoping to continue their reign as U.S. champs.
And negative sports fan behavior is a rising concern for some. We'll talk to someone who deals with fan behavior at the college level. But before we get to all of that, here's today's news with Sarah Spencer.
Thanks, Monty and Carrie. The defense began its case Thursday in the trial of a Texas mother accused of beating 2 of her children to death with rocks. Deanna Laney said she felt called by God to kill her children. While making its case, the prosecution showed jurors a video of Laney describing how she dragged her 8- and 6-year-old sons outside and crushed their heads with rocks. Laney had homeschooled her children for years. Her 14-month-old son survived the attack but was seriously injured. Laney has pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. Police in Detroit are trying to deal with a tragic case of their own. 5 people, including 4 children, were found gagged and beaten to death in a home. Police say they now have a suspect in custody, but investigations are still ongoing. A 13-year-old girl managed to escape the home to alert authorities. More people are cutting the connection from home phones and switching to cellular. Younger people are leading the way with this trend. About 1 out of every 3 Americans between the ages of 18 and 29 are making the change. One major reason for the switch is money. A recent survey found that households are making more than 40% of their long-distance calls with cell phones. Many companies are offering packages with unlimited long-distance calling. This works especially well for the younger callers who are often not home long enough to make their landlines worthwhile.
People they're very busy, they're on the go. It includes voicemail with it. It's your own personal voicemail box. So for students, we've seen a dramatic increase.
While convenient, problems can come up by making the switch. Callers may have reception problems, and not all emergency systems can track 911 calls made from cell phones. Soon people may be able to speed up their security screenings at the airport. They could bypass long lines at security checkpoints by paying for an initial background check. Beginning in June, around a dozen major airports may adopt the new system. Frequent flyers would benefit the most. The government says they would be checking names, addresses, and birth dates. They say the system would improve the safety of all passengers, but some critics feel the background checks would violate people's privacy. Millions of people dream of winning the lottery. For many, the money may rescue them from debt or provide financial security, but pursuing this dream may be risky.
Okay, $2. And there are your numbers, and they're good for Wednesday night. And there's your change, and good luck.
Thank you.
Feeling lucky? People in North Dakota certainly are. The Powerball lottery just arrived at gas stations and grocery stores statewide, leaving many people excited.
I think it'll be fun.
But for some, it might be too much fun. Gambling counselors warn that the lottery could pose problems for many people. They say it can give them a false sense of hope.
I mean, it just gives you the idea that it can set you up so nicely for your career, for the rest of your life, for getting off on the right foot. And it just doesn't happen that way.
Vig says the lottery can act as a gateway to other types of gambling. And she says for some, that can lead to a compulsive gambling addiction. Along with this, the lottery can bring money troubles. One financial counselor says the problem often starts small. But by playing the odds, she says families on tight budgets soon realize that they have a bigger problem on their hands.
If they're spending $5 a week on it and $20 a month, you know, that can start adding up. That's a few $100 that could have paid the car insurance. It could have paid something else.
The dollars add up for North Dakota as well. But with its budget in the billions of dollars, some lawmakers are questioning its overall importance.
The most optimistic projection for the lottery is $5 million. So it isn't a large windfall of money to the state. It's nice, and it's money the state can use, but it's not a huge money maker.
Holmberg says 5% of North Dakota's lottery profits will go toward counseling compulsive gamblers. But those who counsel these people say the state takes a big risk by trying to win big revenues with the lottery.
Do you know who the biggest gambling addict is in North Dakota? It's your state government.
I'm Phil Zubrod reporting for Studio One News.
Yeah, you did it right. Although millions of people play Powerball every week, few have ever had the correct 6 numbers to win the jackpot. In fact, the odds of winning the Powerball jackpot are 1 in 120 million. And that's news for now. Monty and Carrie?
Thanks, Sarah. I'm sure there's a lot of people trying to see if they can finally, in North Dakota anyway, see if they can win that lottery.
Yeah. Big money, big money.
Don't gamble with the weather though, right?
No, never want to gamble with the weather.
No.
Why don't we go to BJ Eisen at the Regional Weather Information Center and find out if it's going to be nice and warm outside.
Well, Monty and Carrie, hey, we're all winning the weather lottery, that is. Looks like conditions are going to be very nice throughout the next week. As long as we can deal with a couple systems moving through first, everything looks like it's going to be pretty clear after that. So let's take a look at Check Your Weather for your viewing areas. And it looks like for our weekly forecasted temperatures, places are going to see temperatures right around the normal values for places like Minot, Fargo, Bismarck, Grand Forks, and Minneapolis, but then Portland and Winnipeg will be seeing temperatures slightly above their average temperatures of 59 and 5 degrees Celsius. So as we take a look at localized Portland from the 6th to the 11th, it looks like things are going to be mostly sunny and very warm with slightly partly cloudy skies after that, but otherwise very nice conditions for them. In Minot and Bismarck, it looks like partly cloudy and dry and very nice weather for that area. And then as we move over to Grand Forks and Fargo, nice conditions as well for them and partly cloudy, so it looks like we are seeing spring spreading across the northern sections of the country. Otherwise, Minneapolis, partly cloudy and dry and very nice for the 8th of April for them, and then mostly sunny and changing to partly cloudy for Winnipeg. It's with us when we head off to work each day, and it's with us when we come home each night. Even though we are aware of the problem, we continue to struggle to solve it.
Unless the world shuts down, we cannot stop it. Pollution, a word we use to describe everything from a piece of trash on the corner to the nuclear waste of a power plant. Some locations have had to go to extreme measures to keep people safe.
There was a plant in Chester, Ohio, in which they actually bought the city because the electrical producing facility could not come up with a way to control SO3 emissions, and it was causing significant acid rain right in the region of the city.
Recent studies have been focusing on the effects of fossil fuels and their airborne emissions. This is especially important in colder climates where snow typically reflects sunlight. With the presence of these particles, snow becomes black and begins to absorb sunlight, causing warmer conditions.
What they used to do many years ago is spread coal fines, coal dust, on the ice in the springtime so that the ice would melt more quickly.
Without a change in our habits, soot could become the leading cause of global warming. I'm Aaron Swanson reporting for Studio One.
The USA Today reported in 1998 that the world saw the highest average annual temperature ever recorded. The planet's average was 58 degrees, which was about 1 degree warmer than any previous year. Here's a recap of your Studio One Weather IQ question. What common gas in our atmosphere has an average life of 12 years? And the answer is D, methane, with an average life of about 12 years. And as we replace all those choices, it looks like coral fluorocarbons are stay in our atmosphere about 235 years, water vapor very short, 11 days, and carbon dioxide about 5 to 120 years. Monty and Carrie, it looks like we are going to see very nice conditions throughout the next week, so very spring-like temperatures. I suggest everyone gets out and enjoys it.
Great. Thanks, BJ.
All right.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
About that 235 years in the
That's
atmosphere.
That's a long time.
Would have never guessed that.
Yeah.
It's kind of
no wonder they always worry about CFCs.
Right.
All right, let's go back to sports with Greg Ankers.
Thanks, Monty and Carrie. Karate and other forms of martial arts have been around for centuries, but those who want to learn these techniques don't have to be very old. Kids as young as 3 can take part in learning and practicing these ancient forms of self-defense.
When people think of the martial arts, the first thing that may come to mind is a scene from a violent kung fu movie. However, these kids say they are learning much more than just punching and kicking. It's also teaching them values such as courtesy, loyalty, integrity, and honor. The children are taught to respect their parents and teachers as well as their instructors. Studying and doing well in school is also an important aspect of their training.
Work hard, set goals like we're talking about now in class. We're talking about goal setting and set goals to do well in school.
Although values are important to the understanding of martial arts, the sport is mostly known as being an excellent form of self-defense.
I've learned how to do jump front kicks and blocks.
Instructors believe that learning how to defend yourself in rough situations is important, and evidently, it's also fun.
I like the forums and the tournaments. That's what I like. And I like the sparring.
Casey Mihalek has been instructing karate lessons for years. He began his training at the age of 13 and believes very strongly in the benefits of the sport.
I think one of the most important things I gained was self-confidence. It's really been a huge factor for me. I never would have thought I'd be able to get up in front of a class and teach like this.
So while this may not be your typical classroom, these karate kids say the martial arts have taught them lessons they can use. This is Billy Fiedler reporting for Studio One Sports.
Martial arts instructors stress the importance of education to younger students. Some programs even offer rewards for kids who receive straight A's or make the honor roll. And now the answer to this week's Studio One Sports trivia question. Which one of the following players did not lead the NBA in scoring during the 1990s? And your answer is C, Reggie Miller. His best season over that span, he averaged just under 25 points a game, while those who led the league averaged more than 29. And that's the sports. Monty and Carrie?
Thank you, Greg.
Laughing is a universal language. We'll look at one group who laugh often while they're on the job.
Also, curling is a sport that requires everyone to work together as a team. Coming up in our Studio One Spotlight, we'll tell you how players on the top U.S. team use a unique connection to succeed on the ice.
Wall Street has come to the prairie through the A. Kirk Lanterman Investment Center at the University of North Dakota. This state-of-the-art facility in the College of Business and Public Administration provides hands-on experience in the world of modern finance. Students learn how financial markets react with lightning quickness to world events. They use cutting-edge technology and real-time data from more than 200 financial markets around the world. The Lanterman Investment Center provides the tools to make a career out of an education.
There are many things to be found at the University of North Dakota School of Law. You will find a place with small class settings, an affordable place that offers student interaction with both the state and federal court systems. You will find a school that has averaged over 90% placement for its graduates the past 5 years. But most importantly, you will find the skills and experience you'll need throughout your legal career. Find your future at the University of North Dakota School of Law.
Need to plan an entire conference? Want to provide your employees with professional training and development? The Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota provides quality programs and services for career enhancement. Whether you want to attend educator workshops or need a certificate for your profession, the Division of Continuing Education can help you achieve success. Contact the Division of Continuing Education today and let us meet your professional needs.
You're watching Studio One, twice named the best college television show in the nation by the National Association of College Broadcasters.
A stage, some comedians, and audience participation is the perfect formula for a good laugh. On-the-spot thinking and unique personalities make for fun entertainment.
Kelly Crow has been making audiences laugh for years. He is the president of an improv group called Nine and Numb. His team and 2 other comedy troupes are coming together for a duel of fools. There is no grand prize except the laughter of the audiences. He says nerves play a role in preparation.
I make a point to be nervous every time, so I usually tell myself something, ridiculous is going to happen. Like the meteor is going to hit this place any minute now.
Kelly kicks off the show by introducing the teams. The audience decides the content.
Nothing's ever been repeated because every single performance is different every time. So that's what makes it so exciting to us, because it stays fresh in our minds, it stays exciting. There's nothing boring about it.
After watching the 2 other teams perform, Kelly's team decides to lead off with a skit called Half-Life. By applause, the audience judges who is the funniest for each round. This includes embarrassing moments.
A few of them involve what I believe Janet Jackson called wardrobe malfunctions. We had a few of those, and mostly zippers.
It's come down to a tie between Nine and Numb and another team. It's time to go head-to-head. By unanimous decision, Kelly's team pulls out their secret weapon, the ranting Irishman. The claps are tallied and Nine and Numb are the victors. All groups join together for one big free-form game to end the night. Even though Kelly's team won, everyone leaves with a smile. With photographer Charles Moore, I'm Jamie Moranek reporting for Studio One.
His love of comedy has taken Kelly to Florida, Chicago, and now Grand Forks, North Dakota. Kelly trained under comedians Jim Belushi and Avery Shriver while in Chicago. What children should and should not see on TV or in the movies is a topic many feel needs to be addressed. Sex and violence have always been on the chopping block, but they are now being joined by smoking. Some people feel that movies containing smoking scenes should be rated R or restricted to an adult audience. We wanted your thoughts on smoking on the big screen.
No, I don't think that it really matters because, I mean, most kids nowadays see their older brother or their parents smoking all the time.
No, because kids can see people smoking every day and just wherever they go.
You see more offensive stuff on regular TV during the day.
I don't think it's a good idea for that stuff to be in movies.
Most definitely, because not only are adults role models for other adults, but they're also role models for children as well.
That young kids are very impressionable, and when they see older people smoking in movies, they think it's okay.
I don't think that if smoking is the only questionable moral issue in the movie that it should be rated R.
It takes a lot of practice to become the best in the country. In our Studio One Spotlight, we'll see what it takes for one team to stay at the top.
As the 2003 U.S. National Curling Champions, Pete, Eric, Sean, and John are considered one of the best teams in the world. They've come together once again this year to defend their title at the Nationals in Grand Forks, North Dakota. As expected, they are cruising through the qualifying rounds with hopes of getting a shot at another title.
Hi, guys! Right over! Yep! Whoa, 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 whoa!
But their success didn't happen overnight. Pete and Eric grew up as friends in Bemidji, Minnesota, and each has been curling for more than 20 years.
You know, we've played so much together that you kind of get to know each other very well.
The two would go to the local curling club after school to get some more lessons from their lifelong coach, Bob Fenson.
He's always helped me along the way. Strategy, you know, work on the slide when we were first starting out, just the basics. And I was there for, you know, what should we done in this situation, but it's always great to have that support.
Altogether, Bob, Pete, and Eric have more than 80 years of curling experience. However, they share more than just a love for curling. They also have the same last name.
Sometimes it's a little harder being the dad. They don't always respond like other people do.
Yep! Whoa! Yep! Beauty.
Brothers Eric and Pete are continuing a trend of curling Fensons. Their father Bob started curling when his family introduced him to the sport. But the Fenson tradition isn't limited to just the guys.
Well, my dad curled, but my aunt is the one who really got me into it. She kept kind of challenged me to play.
With the three fencing guys traveling across the country for curling tournaments, their families get in a lot of mileage too.
It's great to travel with the family, and this week our whole family, our wives and kids and mom and dad, and everybody was here. So it makes for a nice time. It's not quite so bad to go away for a long time when everybody can come with you.
The family got together once again this year for the U.S. Nationals and is having success. They've made it to the finals and just need to beat Washington to defend their title. After 9 rounds of close scoring, it came down to the final rock. But unfortunately for the Fensons, it just wasn't meant to be.
It's the way it goes. You win some, lose some, and it's just hard to lose, but we're happy with what we did this year. Had a good year.
Even though their season is ending earlier than expected, the Fenson brothers hope to come back next year and show they are the best curling family in the world. Reporting for Studio One, this is Corey Morlock.
The Fenson name is well known throughout curling in the U.S. Bob has coached both men's and women's teams to national championships. He is also the president of the United States Curling Association. Profanity and violence is sometimes present at sporting events. Next, we'll talk to someone about fan behavior.
University of North Dakota. No matter what your schedule, no matter when you work, no matter what job you have now, this is your opportunity to accomplish your goals. Degrees After Hours at the University of North Dakota can work around your busy schedule. Bachelor and master's degrees are earned through convenient, flexible, and high-quality classes. Complete degrees are available online through correspondence study and on weekends and evenings. Earn a degree on your terms with Degrees After Hours at the University of North Dakota. Let the University of North Dakota become your strategic partner by providing your business with skills to enhance your workforce retention and productivity efforts. The The UND Office of Workforce Development has extensive experience in conducting employee satisfaction research, workforce needs assessments, and the development of customized training materials. Call us for further information. Workforce Development, a service of the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
The UND College of Business and Public Administration is reaching out to rural America. The Government Rural Outreach Initiative is working to connect you with important information you need. Use the internet to access government services such as employment opportunities, license renewals, applications for government benefits, and much more. The Government Rural Outreach Initiative is funded with the support of the North Dakota Congressional Delegation. To learn how we are helping you get connected, visit go.ndgrow.com.
The School of Engineering and Mines at UND has a long history of preparing students for successful careers. Through small classes and faculty involvement, students have unique opportunities to gain hands-on experience. Here, students launch a weather balloon to test a remote imaging device destined for Earth orbit. Students can also become involved in wind energy and fuel cell projects, design, build, and race a Formula One car, or even develop a camera that will generate agricultural images from the International Space Station. Find out for yourself how you can get involved at UND School of Engineering and Mines.
Profanity and violence is sometimes found at sporting events. Other fans' behavior can be disturbing to some people. University of North Dakota Athletic Director Roger Thomas is here to talk to us about negative fan behavior and what can be done to prevent it. Thank you for coming on the show today, Roger.
My pleasure.
From your perspective as an athletic director, what do you see with fan behavior? What do you look at?
Well, at UND it's pretty good, really. I mean, we're probably above the curve in the country. We have great fans. We're up there in attendance in many of our events, hockey, football, basketball. But it always, I think the issue that the NC2A and across the country is being dealt with now is the handful that probably are out there that say or do something at a game that in a sense kind of wreck it for everybody else who's probably being a great fan at that point.
And to give our viewers out of the local area a little bit of history, you know, we've kind of put the spotlight a little bit on this in the last year or so here at UND. What have you seen and what's being done?
Well, we've had a number of meetings. I think we've drawn attention to the topic as it's happened across the country. Athletic directors, presidents, even coaches. There was a coach over in Maryland who grabbed the microphone one night and addressed his own fans saying, this isn't what we want to be all about. And I think our campus, if nothing else, certainly doesn't everybody doesn't agree with where we're at in terms of trying to draw attention to it, but it's put it on the table, and I feel good about that. I think that our fans, our students, and everybody just has to take a look at their conduct.
What are some of the potential problems that fan behavior can get us into?
Well, it goes into some areas. Certainly, a lot of it is just verbal. It has been worse. I'm sure we've all remember situations where something was thrown or on the ice or at a game. I remember a football episode where bottles were thrown at a referee because of a call and things like that. But it's probably verbal right now. It's profanity, some sexist comments when the women play, and even some racial comments. I think those are the areas that I think everybody would like to combat and to control. And I think it's only controlled kind of from within. There's only so much game management can do if large groups of people would decide to do that. It's very difficult to tell them how to act. And I think our problem here is we're not trying to tell anybody how to act. We just want people to take a look at what they're doing, and maybe we can change. Maybe we can change as an entire group.
Is there a profile of the bad fan? Is there a certain person that is a bad fan?
They're all shapes and sizes, I think, and I know on our campus, you know, a lot of them think we single out the students, but that really isn't the case. So we've had to escort people out of our games in far greater numbers of the fans as opposed to our student population, and it's just somebody that's very vocal. Maybe there's a family sitting over there next to them, and they're out there with their language or whatever, and it just isn't right, and that's just what we're trying to draw attention to.
From where you're sitting as an athletic director looking at this, is this something that seems to be on the rise across the country?
It is, and I think the NC2A has gone to great lengths to send out lots of literature on fan behavior, what schools can do to try to give the fans other options other than just screaming profanities at the top of your lungs. And I think it's just the more attention that is drawn to this at the college level and also at other levels. Certainly there's younger problems. You hear not necessarily a fan, but it might be a parent with a Little League umpire. I mean, we can look at it through the whole strata of sports. And I'm just hoping that we can draw attention to the specifics and maybe change some behavior.
Well, it's one thing from looking
from the outside in, but you also were a coach at the collegiate level for many years, almost 30 years yourself. Being on the receiving end of chants, maybe negative chants, do the players, coaches, and refs, do they take notice of that stuff?
Well, I suppose it depends on the sport. You're pretty close in basketball sometimes, and sometimes in football the field is so big, and sometimes the fans are pretty far away. Though I have to admit, there were times as a college football coach when I was standing on the sideline and the people weren't too far behind you, you could hear them, and you're crazy if you didn't. And it was pretty bad at times in my career when you're at some opposing field. The players some are so involved they don't hear it. The officials, it depends if. You joke about a lot of officials that can hear everything and some that block you out. But you do hear it, and it kind of depends on the sport and probably the magnitude of people that are yelling, unless it's just one or two that are very close by. Sometimes it's chants of lots of people.
What are some of the consequences of bad behavior, even at the school here?
Well, certainly the first thing is you don't want to run in there and just start dragging people out. That's not anybody's intent. And we'd like to draw attention to the topic before somebody goes in, so at least they're cognizant of the fact that that sportsmanship is not lost in this game, and that we would like it to be that way. And if they would refuse to cooperate, I don't think you have a lot of choice, because it ruins the environment for the people around. And I think some fans, we say, well, what if you were sitting here with your family and some other person was not too far away, was yelling or doing what they were doing? I think you try to draw attention to things like that, and if they're not doing it, you got to tell them to leave.
What's the solution? Is there a solution?
Well, I'm hoping that it happens from within. I know as administrators here, the President Coachella and myself, you get a little bit beat up on this one because it's like we're dictating behavior, and I have no interest in that. But to put this on the table, which it is, we're talking about it today, it's been in the papers, it's on national TV and many sports forums. They want us to just take a look at it hard and say, let's do the right thing here, and try and get it from within, that maybe our fans and our students can realize and do other things.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming on, talking about this subject that spreads across the nation.
It really does.
Thanks a lot, Roger.
Thank you.
You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota. We'll be back right after this.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, American Indian Student Services is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
Students in this interactive class at the University of North Dakota are learning together with other students from across the state. UND is committed to helping students take courses and even earn degrees without leaving home. I'm Charles Coachella, President of the University of North Dakota. For information on how you can get a UND education wherever you live, check our website at www.und.edu.
The Graduate School at the University of North Dakota is the premier graduate school of the Northern Great Plains, offering advanced degrees in more than 50 fields of study. Our innovative and flexible programs give full-time students, as well as working professionals, the opportunity to study under the guidance of nationally and internationally recognized faculty. Advance your career with a master's or doctoral degree from the Graduate School at the University of North Dakota.
The UND College of Business and Public Administration is reaching out to rural America. The Government Rural Outreach Initiative is working to connect you with important information you need. Use the internet to access government services such as employment opportunities, license renewals, applications for government benefits, and much more. The Government Rural Outreach Initiative is funded with the support of the North Dakota Congressional Delegation. To learn how we are helping you get connected, visit go.ndgrow.com.
Tune in next week on Studio One. Dancing is a universal way of celebrating. We'll visit a class that meets to explore different dance techniques. Plus, we'll have other news and entertainment stories for you.
We're going to leave you now with pictures of the Red River flowing in the spring, courtesy of photographer Matt Benz. From all of us here at Studio One, have a great week.